Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Rodan. Oh boy, leave it up to me to review some of the most obscure thing ever. Well, that's kind of what I do on this channel anyway, so whatever suppose. It's a blast from the past. And yes, as usual, it's something that's fairly low budget. Well, who didn't see that coming? So anyway, it's another feature from the martial arts genre. I haven't reviewed something kung fu related in a good while. It's Kung Fu Girl Fighter. Yeah, it's one of these types of movies, quite obviously. Oh, definitely. Might as well, because like I just said, I haven't reviewed one of these movies in a good while, so here we go, I reckon. Anyway, like always, let's talk about the plot, shall we? So here we go. Well, in this particular feature, let's just say that there are these pair of Kung Fu experts, the martial artists, and let's just say that they must protect something important. Quite obviously, this area, this place, of course, this kind of area because there are these gangsters who are exploiting the dock workers, and of course, we could see that there's this woman who's a martial artist, and she must kick their ass, of course, and these because of the fact that these people obviously are up to no good, they must be punished for the crimes because a bunch of bastards. Of course they are. Of course. And it gets pretty crazy, as you might expect when it comes to these types of features. And it's an adventure type of a movie where there are these crazy martial artists, and let's just say that this film does attempt to be this kind of epic adventure type of a thing, I reckon, and that's definitely what they're doing here when it comes to the story, quite obviously. The story itself is pretty straightforward. And by the way, in case anyone's wondering, you can actually find this movie on Tubi. So if you want to check it out there, you can if you wish. But it is the English version that I'm talking about. So yes, quite obviously the dubbing is kind of whatever. I mean, it's not the worst dubbing, but the dubbing could be used for could be done better, of course. But anyway, that aside, it's still a pretty solid feature film, I suppose. And yes, I thought this was, of course, why yes, it's low budget, but that's fine. I still like the I still like the fight scenes. Yes, quite obviously the fight scenes are quite well done. All been considered. At least I thought so anyway. The fight scenes are nicely done. It's not too choppy. It's not too. It doesn't feel too overly produced in that department. So that's the different good thing. You do have to have some kind of style when it comes to these fight scenes in these movies. Yes, I know. Every time I talk about these movies, I always have to bring up the fighting because, well, it's part of the genre. This is kung fu, so I have to talk about the fighting. It comes to the territory. You have to have a multitude of different fight scenes. That's just how it is. That's just how it's done, quite obviously. And this is no different. So there's gonna be plenty of fighting throughout the entire feature, and quite obviously, it's pretty action packed, and that's fine by me because again, it goes along with the feature. It goes along with the overall idea. Of course, I like that. Anyway, that aside, I can definitely say that I did like the pacing of this movie. The pacing isn't too bad for what they're trying to do in this movie. Even though I really wanted to get the original version of this film, which, yes, like I said, a multitude of different times before when it comes to these kinds of movies, getting the actual edited version of these movies is going to be a pain in the ass. It always is. Oh boy. Yes, it's cheaply made, but personally, I don't mind it really. And yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I don't mind it really. In a way, it does come off like there's a sense of like crime drama thrown in there, and in some ways, yeah, it feels like that. I feel like there's a sense of crime drama in some aspects, but I don't mind it though. I don't mind it. That's fine as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I just figured I'll just talk about this because as mentioned a moment ago, I feel like I haven't talked about one of these types of movies in a good while. So here we go, I reckon. But anyway, I just thought I'd just do this for real quick. Quite obviously, I did think that this was a pretty solid feature as a whole. I did like the acting, even though it's dubbed, but I did like the acting from what I can see from I guess, the original footage. You can see the actors and actresses. From that aspect, I like the acting. I'm not talking about the dubbing, mind you, not the dubbing, but the performance from the original footage, from what I can see from this version of this film. So, I'm just gonna look at the bright side of it. That's all, folks. I'm just gonna look at the bright side of things, quite obviously. So, here we go. Reviewing these types of movies is rather sporadic, really, folks. That's why you don't really see me doing any kind of movie marathons with Kung Fu. Even though I probably should have by now, but I never did really. But for anyone that's a fan of this genre of film, I do have a playlist where I've reviewed nothing but Kung Fu. So if you want to see more of these type of movies that I covered, so just go to my playlist on my channel. I have an entire playlist again of nothing but martial art movies. And yes, it's quite obvious when it comes to updating this kind of a thing. It's going to be pretty random, of course. Just so you know, it's going to be pretty random, obviously. So I'm not sure when I'm going to update this playlist. Of course, yes, it's going to be pretty sporadic. Like I said, it's going to be pretty random, obviously. So just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. I don't have like a planned schedule of kung fu. Not really. It's just like I said, sporadic. Just like okay, I'm going just off on a tangent a little bit. For this film, for this version, it's fine. Okay, I thought it was fine. It did what it was supposed to, and I was fairly entertained. So for that, I can't really complain. Can't really complain. Not really. The story itself is pretty straightforward, and for what it's worth, it's fine. At least I thought so anyway. Well, anyway, I'll give this an overall rating of a 6.8 out of 10. It's a 6.8 out of 10 for me. Thanks for watching. See ya.